I'd
Yeah,
just like
compared
to,
to one person rambling on, kind
yeah,
of gets a
yeah,
conversation going.
yeah. Screw you, playing guy.
Should
With
make him
that,
do an episode alone.
yeah, he may he. I think that would go to his head. I think he would like it so much he would be like that TowManG guy and just do it by himself, regardless if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Towing Life podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are loaded, but the drivers are not. I am your host, TowManG, and as usual, well, it's not usually, I'm normally joined by Playing Guy. I am not joined by Playing Guy today. I am joined with my buddy Austin. Say hello, Austin.
Hey, I'm Austin. Just a random joinee today.
Ah, you're not random. You're not random. As you can see, Austin here is sitting in a parking lot in a tow truck because he is a tower, and you know what it is like being out on the road, just busy every day. Thankfully, he's had enough time to sit down and talk to us today. Playing Guy cannot be here because he is painting as well, so that is awesome. Thank you, Playing Guy, and by thank you I mean fuck you, Playing Guy. Um, uh, just just like he normally does, I'm going to give you the little spiel of where you can find us. You can reach us at thetowinglife@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook at The Towing Life as well. You can even call us at 249-666-2209. If you're watching on the YouTube side of things, you can leave us a comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All those good things. So, how's your day going, Austin?
Going semi-busy,
Couple calls.
Sitting in a parking lot now.
I could see some snow coming down behind you too. I guess you might get called away on us.
Heavy snowfall, but I'm going to set myself to not active.
So you own and run this company, correct?
Yes, I do.
You do. And how old are you?
I am 24.
You're
Just had to pause
24.
there.
You're 24 years old and you own your own towing company. Now, how many drivers do you have with you?
We've got, I think only three now. Yeah, three.
Three? Three? I know I did when we did that roadside training course. That's how we met together.
Yeah.
I want to say that was 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah, time does fly. So
It
yeah, I was
does.
probably around there.
It does fly. And so how long have you actually been towing for yourself?
I've got, let's see, we called it probably when I was 18 is when we started and set myself up as previous episode. I was the one that had to go through insurance problems, of
Yep.
course.
Yep. So you had to put the company into your name just to get insurance.
Yeah, because insurance was just being a giant hassle. And even putting it into my name, running my company, those premiums get real up there when you're so young.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what do you do to help mitigate that cost? Is there anything you were able to find to make it easier on yourself, especially
Well,
dealing with the insurance?
slammed myself into Wreckmaster, did my Wreckmaster. The roadside training
Yep.
helped me out, put me through that. Didn't lower it too much until a couple years ago when they're like, oh, you've got 3 years experience.
Yep.
Now turn 25.
Yeah, you can't speed that up any at all, can you? Unfortunately.
And I'm a December child, so now I got to wait a full year.
Oh, you got to wait another full year, eh?
Yeah.
No, does that make it harder for you to hire people?
Actually, no, it does not.
You've never
I'm
had that
just
ran into the issue of age?
no, but there's not many towers applying to places anymore.
This is true.
None of them are our age. They're all older.
Yeah. Yeah, it is hard.
No offense.
It is hard to get the young guys into towing.
And if they do, they're 6 months to a year, and then they're like, okay, this is some
Yeah.
hard work. I'm done.
Yeah, and for you guys, you are like secondary and backup for many roadsides, right? So you guys get
Yeah,
sent all over the place.
hours,
Hours.
hours away. Yeah,
Now,
we've got a huge radius
what's the kilometers on that, roughly?
from bottom to top. It's probably 400 kilometers.
Wow. Wow, you guys literally go all over.
We're their saviors.
Yeah. No one else wants to do it. Guess who's doing it?
Oh, even up north, I hate up north going on all those fire routes.
Yep. Yeah, nice tight roads. Now, I'm surprised if you do go that far up north. I'm surprised you're not in like a four-wheel drive wrecker.
Got one of those sitting up north as well,
Oh, you got one up
waiting for
north
those
now too.
calls. Yeah,
Nice. Now, with you guys going so far, how do you guys keep trucks in your area to service your own customers?
thankfully we don't get too many cash calls. We're pretty much booked solid with roadside,
Yep.
and it is hard to keep the trucks in the area.
I guess
We
it
have,
would be.
yeah, we have two on order for December, but
What all did
that's 10
what are
months,
you
11
ordering?
months.
What are
Two
you ordering?
Hino 258s with hydraulic brake.
Okay, so just anyone can drive and type trucks.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now, is there what are you driving now?
a Chevy National 5500.
A Chevy National 5500. Huh.
None of them like to claim the truck.
No, no,
Nope.
no, I bet not. It's kind of like the old F650s, how it was an international chassis, and then you take it to them, they say, no, that's a Ford thing. So you go to Ford
Yeah.
and you say, this is my problem, this is my VIN. They're like, no, that's a Cummins thing. So now you've gone to Cummins and they're like, this is my problem, this is my VIN. They're like, no, that's a Ford thing, and you're just what the fuck, back
Yeah.
and
Like
forth, and
when I was trying to do something and I sent a complaint to Chevy and they're like, "Well, your VIN doesn't exist." Like, I have a Chevy symbol on the steering wheel. It's gotta exist.
hmm.
Go to international. Oh yeah, your VIN's here, but we don't service this. This is a Chevy problem.
Have you had many problems with that truck?
There's all these odds and ends little things, but nothing major except for an air-to-air pipe, which is bound to happen eventually.
Yep.
But it put me down for 5 hours, back
Okay.
up, and the truck hasn't went down in almost 3 years.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I don't want this thing much longer, but
Yeah. Well, it's been a pretty good truck for you. I've seen you put quite a bit of stuff on that, and you
yeah,
obviously don't get a break.
no,
That
this thing
truck
doesn't
just
stop.
goes and goes.
It's got a small fuel tank, but it does the trick. It saves fuel, even though you're stopping at every single gas station.
Yeah, it's even my wrecker, it's got a barely 100-liter tank, and you're like,
Yeah,
why are
yeah.
you building these trucks with these
I'm at
small
gas
fuel
light.
tanks?
Yeah, I get to Gaslight. I fill up like 85 liters on
Wow.
Gaslight.
Oh, that's pitiful.
Right?
So you're
But
getting
gets
what,
me
like
to,
300 to 400 kilometers to a tank?
yep, yep, pretty much.
So you'll go
When
from
I,
full to empty in just one straw or one shot across your area.
oh yeah, you should see me doing 2 Ottawa runs a day.
Huh.
I'd get, I'd fill up before I left for Ottawa, fill up in Ottawa, come back, fill up, and then do it again.
Wow. Now, I remember we had a conversation before. You had bulk fuel at your shop. Does that,
Yep.
with having a small tank in your tow truck, I guess you don't get to utilize that as much as you would hope to.
Just the one truck that sits at the yard most of the time and does all the police calls. He uses that so he doesn't have to pay an arm and a leg for fuel.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
And
never miss a gas station, so I'm always full.
well, not with DEF, apparently.
No, no,
No.
DEF is just the biggest issue ever.
And you're having a pretty good issue trying to get DEF right now.
Yep. The other day, it took me about 16 gas stations to find a jug because I
Wow.
can't use those little 3 liter jugs because they don't work. I don't know who uses them.
Hmm. I guess some small cars, like last week, Plane Guy was talking about those Chevy Trax or whatever, those little cars that are diesels, they might work better instead of the big jugs.
Yeah,
But
because mine's just in a terrible place. That jug ain't working.
Where's the fill up tank on your truck?
Passenger side front fender.
Oh, right. And
Fuel
it's
tank is on the back driver's side.
yeah, yeah, and it's like tucked underneath the hood, isn't it?
um, the fuel tank part,
No, the
it's tucked
def.
under the deck. The def, it's not even tucked under the hood. It's in a good spot. It's just on an angle to the point where you can't pour a jug in without a funnel.
Uh, nice, nice. And of course, they didn't give you a funnel with your truck
No,
either. No,
they can't do that.
no.
But the whole gas fill-up's even worse on it because it's under the deck, so it's on like a straight bend. So
Uh,
90% of the time, you're always losing 40 cents as soon as it clicks.
I know with our trucks, we've got the straight up and down filler neck as well. So once it clicks, you're like, okay, and if you pull the nozzle out 3 inches or whatever, you could fit another $15-20 worth of fuel just by filling up the neck, just
I
because
want
it's
that.
so
No,
foamy.
mine clicks and it's like, pooh, let's see how far I can go. And then you can add like $4.
Wow. Wow, yeah, I guess you do really have a small tank.
Yeah.
Hmm. You've been having some issues with transport slots, I've been hearing, or lack thereof, transport slots.
Yeah. I don't. Okay. Are you saying transport slots?
No, transport slots.
Slots.
Slots. Yeah, the transport slots. You sent me a picture of the tow Bible the other day, and there's
I
no
don't even know
transport
which
slots.
one. I don't even know which one that is anymore.
It was a
I
Chrysler 200, I'm pretty sure. The
Oh
picture of.
yeah. Yeah, it was the Dodge Charger and the Chrysler 200s.
Yeah.
Well, the Chargers do have the T hooks.
Mm,
Just when I was pulling it out of the swamp,
yeah.
it's in the swamp, in the mud. You're not going to get to it.
No.
And there's nowhere else to get it. Chrysler 2, it was the Chrysler 200 the other day. It was 2015.
Yeah.
Twist aisle shift and the tow spec thing. Nobody knows where the heck the hookup is, I guess. I couldn't find one when I was under it. I'm like, this is weird. I'm not going to hook to tie rods or anything.
No.
Like, nowhere.
So what did you end up having to do?
What nobody likes.
What, rim jobs?
It drives.
Oh, you drove it onto the bed.
Very
Okay.
gently. You pull it up as much as possible. You put your safety chain, you put it up onto your deck, and then you roll it forwards a little bit forward to where you need it.
I guess you have a stationary headache rack on that tow truck?
And no, it stays with the deck. It comes
Oh,
with the
okay.
deck.
Those are
I
easy to
don't like,
find. I find if I'm
right?
going to drive a car on the bed, I want the fixed like headache rack on the bed unit because
And I
then
have
at
the
least you don't have
pylon
to worry
rack
about
right
driving
there.
right off the truck, right? Like Dukes of
Yeah.
Hazarding it.
Yeah. And then my pylons are like right in the perfect spot so I can tell the distance.
Yep.
But yeah, nothing you want to do in the winter. But my deck was dry with a good amount of salt on
Yeah. Yeah, and you
it.
run steel beds, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Now,
Yep.
is there a reason why you prefer steel over the aluminum beds?
I've never tried an aluminum. Now I am early into this, but I've heard they dig like I get all the crap calls from roadside assistance. Control arms always are sticking to the ground when I get it, exhaust on the ground. I get all the bad calls.
Yep.
So I'd eat an aluminum deck within a year.
Yeah, I guess you would. And how hard is it easy to keep drivers around since you're going everywhere? You can't actually like say, okay, well, yeah, you work in this area fairly close to home. In between calls, you can go home. You can't provide that, as from what I've heard, from what you
I
told
tell
me.
them if you can go home if you want.
Yeah,
But if they give you a call, who knows what's going on?
yeah, and
Our main calls now are Coburg.
yeah.
There's not too many roadside in Coburg anymore.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty well the primary for that area.
Yeah, we're secondary to classic.
Okay.
Yes, classic comes all the way out there.
Wow. Their classics getting pretty big, and they are
Yeah,
everywhere. You see, it doesn't matter where you go, you see a classic truck.
yeah, they're
That
everywhere.
sounds
That's their thing.
Yeah.
And
And
that's one of their drivers is the one that was like, stay away from Freightliner. I hate this truck.
really? Now, what's
Everyone
your
has one, but
you haven't actually had one, but what was he complaining about the Freightliner for?
him not being able to keep it out of the shop
Oh,
for just random nooks and cranny things,
hmm.
def issues, all of that stuff.
Yeah. And you haven't had any def issues with your truck.
No, I found out the one emissions issue I have going on is common for these trucks. It's
Hmm.
the wiring harness on the back of the truck.
Nice. And I remember you sending me a picture of the junction box on that.
Yeah, they put them right in the wheel wells, same as the body control module and stuff. It's right outside the cab, right where the
Oh,
gunk gets.
nice. Nice. I'm guessing you're siliconing that box shut.
Everything got siliconed, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Just
just a
trying to keep it up to
first
snuff as best you can.
generation back of the Kodiak, and it's just the exact same stuff over again.
Hmm. Hmm.
Wiring disasters that I haven't got fully yet.
Hmm. So would you buy another one?
No, no.
No. Now is it
I don't.
the weight that you need more of, or just the actual chassis? You wouldn't buy another one.
I think it needs more weight in the front end. This thing's like a bouncy castle in the front when you're driving.
Okay, so it rides like an old lumber wagon.
Yeah, exactly. The rear wheels are 5 feet, 10, not even back from the deck. I got like 12 feet overhang on the back.
Wow,
I've got a crazy overhang.
that doesn't sound
So
quite good.
so
So you get
everything gets
very little weight
brought right up.
transfer.
Yeah.
Now, they really, that sounds like the truck was built improperly because you should really have a longer wheelbase.
They really should have thought this truck through, but
Yeah.
after the amount of complaints they probably got, they know what they're doing now.
Let's hope. So maybe the next
Yeah.
generation of these trucks will be a little bit better than
Yeah, they're
what?
at least using the international frame. So
Okay, so you've got a Chev frame underneath you.
no, I've got the international frame. It's just
Okay.
they need to stick the wheels farther back.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, being secondary for most roadsides, can you like say, okay, well, I want more money? Because obviously the first guy couldn't do it, wasn't capable of doing it, didn't have the experience, didn't have knowledge, didn't have the manpower. Does that aid in your favor when it comes to contract renewals?
On certain calls, it's okay, but I will see. I'm upgrading my contract soon
Yeah.
because, as everyone knows, fuel's gone up.
Yep.
Medium duties are eating fuel, so hard to keep them moving constantly.
Yeah. And now that pickup trucks just keep getting heavier and heavier, even some of your
The light
standard
duty is
15.
becoming obsolete. It's like the
Yeah.
1500s are pretty much max weight on these things.
Yeah, so what are you capable for on that bed?
I think the max was we were doing something. It was in between 6 to 7,000. Probably would be the Ontario legal limit.
Yeah, for your bed unit there. And you're running a 10 series?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. With
So
an aluminum, I'd be able to get the full potential out of it. This thing weighs 16,000 pounds
wow.
with all of its equipment. So
Wow. That's that's actually not too bad. My record rolls down the road at 14,000,
yeah,
right?
I'm not too far off. Except
No.
for you probably have a better ride than me.
Oh, my ride, it feels like a Cadillac going down the road. It's beautiful. Now, to
Yeah.
be honest, I've got the four-wheel drive up front on my wrecker as well, so I get a little bit more front end weight just off the hop too.
Well, there's somebody that we know that's over in Saugeen Shores. He's got the 4x4 version.
Oh,
As he
that.
commented on one of my posts, 4x4 does nothing for these trucks except for cause a little bit more problems.
Okay. Wow. See, you would thought you would keep your front end weight a little bit better for the weight transfer.
I need like tractor weights on the front.
So you're going back to your regular cab Hinos,
Yep.
and that's your preferred style of truck.
Yeah, everyone I know hates the Hinos because they're slow. But if you really got in that 2010 that I have, It goes. It's
She
better than
boogies
my
along.
2019 for sure.
Wow. I know it doesn't really matter about the speed, right? As long as you
No,
are
it's
reliable
the
and you get the truck job done.
yeah. Just getting up to speed is a good thing too. Getting on the highway.
Well, if you're, it's like a light duty flatbed, right? So you're not going to be doing your doubles, and especially since you're a secondary, you don't get to choose the calls that come to you. So
No.
you're never going to get those, oh, well, I got a four door or a all wheel drive SUV and a two-door Honda Civic going the same direction at the same time, right? So
Yeah.
you're not going to be utilizing that wheel lift on the back to where you're going to need that
And
extra
yeah.
horsepower.
This one hasn't moved in a while. I use it in the winters
Yeah.
because I put that little trailer hitch piece. It's a little good pin on icy roads. You just drive it right in. I
Yeah.
know nobody likes doing that, but this thing has no weight to it, so I have to drill it into the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, as much as the rest of us, we like to be able to do everything. We don't want to turn around and say we can't do
Yeah,
something.
you don't want to say you don't do it. Like the other day, I had a Dodge Journey. I don't know why the driver didn't want to do it. He didn't like the driveway, I guess. So I just put my booster pack on it, got it where I could hook it up, threw it in neutral. I'm guessing he didn't know where the neutral switch was on him.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I would have tried everything before saying no, I can't do this, send a wheel lift and dollies.
Yeah.
And then for another flatbed to show up. I didn't even have the call on me yet. I just came there to see what was going on, why it needed it. And I'm like, well, I can do this, no problem.
Hmm. Yeah, you'll I I did this call once. It was out of area. A flatbed showed up, said he couldn't do it. I get there and I was like, okay, well, it's in the garage. It's stuck up right close to the wall. I was like, okay, whatever. And I open up the hood and the motor's all tore apart. Like there's only half a motor sitting in this car. I was like, that's weird. And the guy in the flatbed originally who showed up, he was like, no, can't do it for whatever reason. But
Yeah.
he never even looked at the car, right? Because
Drove by
obviously,
and said, nah.
yeah, pretty much. Because it was for a roadside and only having half a motor in a car normally means it's not covered under said roadside.
Yeah.
So since I got there, I was like, this isn't covered under your roadside, but I can do this for you, no problem. Even though I wouldn't be able to get my wheel scoop onto the passenger side of the car, I just got in the car and the shifter column was already pulled all apart. And I went in, yeah, there's the cable there. And I gave it a little yank, got it into neutral, and just rolled it out. And just, if you can take that extra minute or two to figure it out,
Just
you're learning,
relax.
it makes you look like you're a professional, and you get the job done.
Yeah. And the person's like, yes, thank you. Finally.
Yeah.
I've
I
been
ended
waiting
up charging
forever.
him, I think, $160 to get towed where he wanted to, and he was happy to pay it because the first guy who showed up said that he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right? Do
That's
you do much of that being secondary? Do you get a couple of calls flipped around to being like cash rates or anything?
we get the occasional cash call, but in the past couple months, we haven't been taking them. We just say, get someone that's closer.
Yeah.
We're going nuts with other calls. You need us to cover this, so let us get this. Just send the cash call to somebody.
Yeah. Hmm. Now, I guess you guys are staying super busy with that, just to keep your three trucks on the road. Being the secondary, just getting sent everywhere. Like, I really don't know what it is about it. It just seems so foreign to me because I've always been in, okay, this is my area, this is my town, and you don't go out of there too often to pick up cars and take them anywhere
Yeah.
else, right? You might get the odd time like we get sent out for like heavy calls and RVs and whatnot that we get sent out of area, but not to the extent of what you guys do.
Oh
Nowhere
yeah. I've
close.
had the occasion where I've been sent up to Bracebridge and bring down to Toronto. Like,
Wow.
okay, so I get paid 2.5 hours to get up there, take it 2 hours down. I'm like, that's a good round trip for me. I don't mind
Yeah.
that.
And now dropping in Toronto, would they try to get you another call to send you back going another way?
Okay, we all know with roadside, it's pretty rare that they will. I know some guys get them all the time. It's pretty rare.
It's pretty rare
If
for you.
they, if I'm going through Oshawa, they'll try to give me as much Oshawa as possible. But
Yeah.
It's mostly going back the other direction, not coming back to my area.
Hmm. Yeah, and I know for us, if we send a flatbed down to the city after 6 p.m., they're always trying to get us to do other stuff, especially down in the city, right? It's apparently with a lot of these roadsides, they're having a hard time getting nights covered, right?
I can believe that. We wear ourselves out
Yeah.
all day, just giving her like. I think the first call that arrives on my tablet's around 7 a.m.
Yep.
and then I'm out till it's almost 7, so a couple more hours.
Now, do you just do your own hours throughout the day? Or do you say I'm done at a
I
certain
work like a
time?
dog, so nobody else has to.
uh, and your dad's still working for you there?
Yep, he pitter patters. He's been doing actually quite a bit lately. Pretty
Yeah,
surprised.
that's good. That's good. It's nice to see a small family business can still grow and hopefully survive throughout this whole pandemic. And obviously, you guys are surviving because, well, you just ordered 2 new trucks, which is
Yeah,
awesome. Um, there's a big saying going around right now in the industry. It's either grow or die.
I can believe that.
What are you doing to survive through that?
Well, saying I'm the owner, me working like a dog really takes the big thing. I do all my work I put into paying off my trucks, and
Yeah,
then the other trucks moving, just get everything else paid for.
yeah.
But me moving by myself, I'm just paying all the trucks off because I've got these two new trucks that I'm, paying an arm and a leg for because tow trucks aren't cheap.
Yep. Yep. Now, what type of like would you rather get a truck, run it for 2 or 3 years while you're paying it off, and then keep that truck, or get rid of it and just keep that payment cycle going?
I'm gonna do the flip around, but for this Chevy that I have,
Yep.
I wanted to get rid of it, but I think we're just gonna pay it off this summer
Yep.
and then slam it up north and just run it for police calls because I've got 3 different impounds.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah,
you're
try
really
try
spread
doing
thin.
roadside and 3 different sections for police because 2 of them are in a rotation with and one other company.
Wow. Hmm. 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 You guys are really spread thin over there.
Oh yeah, that's why the 2 trucks got to come in, and then we can
Yeah.
get everything sorted out.
Now, are you short on drivers right now too?
Yeah, I'd like another driver at least.
Yeah. And where are you actually located?
Our main base is out of Omimi,
Out
over
of
by
home, maybe.
Peterborough.
And what's your hiring pool like? Where could you pull a driver out of?
See, I think I only have an air brake truck left, so it'd have to be an AZ driver.
An AZ
Ex-
driver?
Yeah, I can train. That's no biggie.
Yeah.
We all have to learn at some point, right? Like
Yeah.
I spent before I hit the road, I did 2 weeks at one company, 2 weeks at another. Then I did my rec master, and then my other roadside
Yeah.
just to burn through everything. That took me forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, do you I'm pretty sure you're wearing their hat still. How do you stand behind Wreckmaster? I've never went myself.
Oh yeah, I guess we did do CAA together. I CAA and rec master pretty much have the exact same thing, different names for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I I liked rec master. It was a lot. I feel like it was a lot more hands on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you did your 2-3 with them?
2, 3, 4, 5.
You did your 4-5 too. Yeah.
Yeah,
And do you honestly think it was worth the money?
I honestly don't know how much I spent.
You can't remember.
I made someone else handle the money at that time. So I have no idea. I'd say it was worth it though. I don't know about the higher classing.
Yeah.
I'd have to do the higher class because if I ever go decide to get heavies,
Yeah.
I've got to know what I'm doing, obviously.
Obviously. Now, for being such a small company, how do you train your new drivers that come in? Is it literally just you and them?
Me and them, I try to I'll send them out. We'll help them for a little bit. And then when they come across calls that I'm like, okay, they might not know how to do this because it's not basic.
Yeah.
I'll load up my call and I'll drive over to them and show them how to do it, help them
Yeah.
out. We had a driver that I think he was worn out after 8 months, so he left. I don't know what's happened to him. He called in sick and never came back. But yeah, calls that I knew I hadn't trained him on, I wouldn't send him because that'd just be a harsh move if I couldn't help him.
Yeah.
Like the motorcycles and stuff. Even though I had the motorcycle card in this thing, like he's never done it.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that always does it. I don't make anybody else do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, so I was like, it's hard to train. It really is. I
Yeah.
don't. The big companies, it's a lot easier because you have so many big people on the road.
Yeah, like you've got
And
your road captain, and then you've got the actual trainer who's training that guy, and he's always got someone to call, which is nice in that aspect.
yeah,
Um,
with COVID, it makes it a little easier to train because no passengers.
yep.
Yeah, you can have someone in the truck and train them like that.
Hmm.
Half the time I've been open, I've been in COVID stuff. So, it's a little bit easier for me. I don't know what's going to happen as soon as everything opens back up and I'm taking passengers. I can't keep a driver in my truck. I run single cabs,
Yeah,
except for my wrecker.
yeah. And now you seem to be a firm believer in the regular cabs. What's the reason behind that?
I'm antisocial.
You're antisocial.
I 90% of my calls go 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with a conversation for 3 hours is damn near impossible.
Wow. Yeah, I guess it would be. It is. It really depends on the type of people. I know I've met quite a few awesome people, and I've met quite a few not so awesome people that I've had to
Exactly.
share the truck with. I picked up a gentleman from the Tim Hortons, the old company I worked with, and towed him down to, I think it was 40 minutes away. Anyways, he got in the truck and his friend got in the back seat, and I think they had about four teeth between the two of them. And they must have been high on something because they were yelling back and forth between the two of them for the 30-minute drive to their tow destination. I think they were just like super high, and with the three cops sitting in the parking lot, they're like, we can't drive out of here, man.
And you get some of those weird people like, yeah, I appreciate that you're not driving intoxicated, but like, I don't want to smell that. I've
Yeah.
I've had a guy that was like, it felt like I was drinking whiskey being beside him.
Wow.
And I had to take him to Toronto. I get to Toronto and he makes me stop at a grocery store so then I stopped because I wanted to see this, to drink 2 liters of lemon juice.
Lemon juice.
Lemon juice. He sat there in my truck chugging it. I Who does that?
Did you ask him?
He just said it tastes good.
Oh. Um. I,
Right?
I can't I just can't wrap my head around that. He chugged 2 liters of lemon juice in your tow truck,
Yeah.
and you let him do that.
I wanted to see it. I wanted to see if it was even possible. Like that's some acid stuff.
Oh, I wish you recorded it. Oh, you
And
should
it's
really
the
get one of
weirdest
those two-way
request.
dash cams, my friend.
Yeah, it's like the weirdest request. Hey, can you stop so I can get lemon juice? I gotta drink some. I'm like, not water? Really?
Wow. Yeah, I normally say no to stopping while towing for that reason, unless like you really gotta go to the bathroom, then I try to find
Yeah,
a spot. But I normally say if you gotta go, go now before we actually get on the highway. Or it'll
yeah,
never fail. You just pass like an en route and they're like, I need to go to the bathroom. And it's like, oh you mother.
yeah. Of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't have
Oh yeah.
asked me that 5 minutes ago. No, it had to be now.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so, for someone your age owning and operating this towing company, is there any advice out there to someone else our age? Because I think I think we're pretty much the same age. Um,
Yeah.
any advice
It's
you would give to someone else out there?
I know it's gonna be hard. Stay as soon as you get past the 1 year mark, things get easier.
Yeah.
You get used to it, you get into the thing, and then it's just a walk in the park after that. But the first year, you're gonna feel beaten up. Just push through it. It does get easier. It's tiring, but it does get easier. And then you start getting used to it. And
Yeah.
then as soon as you walk away, you want to get back into it. So,
It is an addiction, isn't it?
yeah,
And I
it's,
guess
e-
that.
it's so most of the time it's easy work.
Yeah.
Nice. You're not doing what the heavy guys are doing with me, at least. Spending hours on scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I was just training this new guy and I was like, "Listen, man, once you get good at this, you're gonna pretty much in the wintertime, you're gonna want to wear a sweater." I'm like, "A sweater?
Yeah,
It's cold outside." I was like, "You're not gonna be out that truck long enough to get cold." He's like, "Oh,
yeah, maybe 10 minutes to load.
yeah, 10
I keep
minutes
my straps
maximum."
on my deck, so it's really quite easy for me. Put
I
the cars
I
in.
I don't understand why people take the straps off their deck.
I do it when they're wet in the winter. They
Mm,
freeze, and then it's a pain. I get to cheat a little bit. I got the stainless steel handle, so I never have to worry about rust or anything.
yep, yep. Yeah, it's just you, especially I think it's more so if you have the narrower deck, right?
Yeah,
Having the wider deck, and especially if you don't have your bed rails on, you just can just shove your ratchets out a little bit further, and you don't have to worry about
I
running them over.
love the rails. I know so many people that hate the rails. I love my rails.
Why do you like your rails?
The the other week, I power washed my deck in the -30 weather. Regret that completely. I had a skating rink deck. And the straps have some play in them, even if they're crank solid.
Yeah.
So when your deck's a skating rink, sometimes it's nice to have that rail.
Are you saying you let a car slide sideways into the bed rail?
It did not hit the bed rail, but I'm telling you, if I turned any harder, I thank God the side rail would have been there.
Oh God.
That's what I like about my NRC though. It's got those little lips
Yeah.
on the side. Now they don't come off, yeah, but they're far enough that a dually can fit between them. This truck's never going to see a dually, so
No.
I've
No.
had a dually on here once. It was a chase truck, and yeah, that's when I decided to tap out on diesels coming onto this truck.
Yeah, I'm assuming it would have probably been like 12,000 pounds.
Yep, 12, 13,
Yeah.
and I was only going a kilometer, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna load this. I'm not gonna wait for another truck to show up.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that was probably for a police call too.
Friend call.
Oh.
We were just towing it back to my place, so then he could drain the fuel tank and
Oh, it was misfueled, was it?
yeah, or a
Oh.
little bit too much water.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, it's so easy to overload flatbeds.
Yes.
And the problem is, I'm not sure about yours, but I know with our Freightliners, you can overload them by at least 50% and they still look good going down the road.
Oh yeah, you can overload and it'll look good no matter what. Like everything overloads. The wreckers, they can't handle much because they weigh themselves out pretty much by MTO rules.
Yeah. And well, if you overload your wrecker, your front tires come off the ground, right?
Yeah, which hopefully your Stinger doesn't want to pick up at that point.
Yeah, if you've built your truck correctly, the Stinger should tap out just before your front tires come off the ground. But with
Yeah.
the flatbeds and you get that little bit of weight transfer, I know with you not having a super long wheelbase, you would definitely have your front end coming up a lot more than what most flatbed guys are used to.
I've tested this truck in every limit to see what it could do.
Yeah.
I've done dual pickup trucks with this thing. I had one on the deck and one on the wheel lift. I was stuck coming from Minden to Peterborough at 50 kilometers an hour because of my front end.
Wow. And I guess you had the pickup truck just snugged right up tight to your headache rack as well, trying to get all that
Trying to
weight on
get
the
as
front.
much weight as front. I'm like, come on, I just need to make it home with my trucks.
And having that short wheelbase too is definitely going to impact your weight transfer.
Exactly. That's why I never use the wheel lift anymore. It's just become obsolete.
And it's not worth the risk of doing
And
anything.
it's got another different set of L bars. Like I feel like every truck has a different set. It's ridiculous. Mine have like you set it in and then you put pins in, like click
Uh,
pins. It's a weird thing.
oh, they don't have a spin cam.
Yeah, they're just, and right now mine are locked in because they got salted. So now the buttons don't work to release them.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I've never said, like, this is the first time I've ever seen these type of L bars. And I asked for the Vulcan scoops for it.
Mhm.
So they sent me shims that slide onto the L bars.
Oh.
I'm like, that's not Vulcan, but I get what you're trying to do.
Oh, so it's like a little piece that slips over top of the L bars to make it like a strapless scoop.
Yeah, but it definitely, by the looks of it, cannot be strapless. I just instantly threw them in a box and put them in storage.
Not going to use these
Like, I'd
things.
rather just ratchet strap onto the L bars.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I've never really understood having the Vulcan scoops on a flatbed, just because you don't have the ability
you
to
don't have
tilt
that
right away.
angle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
that's the biggest thing with running anything Vulcan is that tilt first will really save you on your clearance, and that's one of
yeah,
the main selling features of having L arms is you can pick so much lower on the tire, so you
yeah.
normally don't have to double pick things. And being a flatbed, you only have your up or your down. You're pretty limited on your options.
I get to cheat though. I'm pretty low to the ground.
Yeah. Do you have airbags in the rear of that too? Or are you strictly
No, I
spring
don't
ride?
need them.
Don't need
I
them.
don't need it. It's just pure spring. They do come up with an airbag kit for these. So if
Yeah.
I were to ever somehow misguide myself to buy another one of these trucks, it would be bagged in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, I guides. I'd put the airbags in. The ride gets 10 times better with them, apparently, with the just the back bags. People say, yeah, you don't even need the front. As soon as the back is in, the ride gets way better.
Hmm.
You don't eat through tires as much.
Oh, it's hard to keep tires on that truck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my front tires are the longest I pushed because it's impossible to get tires right now. I've been waiting 2 months for tires.
Really?
So these guys have lasted, I think I'm got to be reaching 100,000 kilometers on.
That's it. And you're fine.
That's it.
Huh.
Yeah.
We had a set of tires, the fronts on our my wrecker actually. They lasted 210,000 kilometers.
See, yeah, my wrecker has lasted super duper long. The Hinos, they last really long. This thing's like, yeah, these tires are great. Get rid of them. I've tried, I've done Continentals, Aolas. Right now I've got the Michelin XDs,
Yeah.
and I think I have Toyos ordered,
Hmm.
and I'm waiting for the Toyos to come in.
Just to see if they're any better.
Yeah, the Continentals came with the truck. They were terrible. It wasn't that they wore down, is they're chunking.
Oh, they ripped a chunk out of it.
Yeah, chunks were just flying off occasionally, and then at like 50,000 kilometers, I was like, okay, these tires need to be replaced. There's tons of chunks missing.
By the sounds of it, if you didn't have bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all with that thing.
Exactly. But it hasn't stopped driving, so really I can't complain too much.
So the uh, from what people have probably been hearing from you, the question on everyone's mind is, are you afraid of burnout?
I am, but I just gotta keep pushing through. I feel like we'll hit the big enough spot in 5, 6 years. I am at a steady pace. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I've got the plans saved up so I can prepare for another good expansion. As I helped another person that was shutting his company down, I took it over his area and
Yeah.
then I put him in one of my trucks so then he didn't have to worry about payments on his.
Hmm. And it sounds like you're pretty well a one-man band over there right now. You've got a couple of people to help you out doing your police calls and your father helping you out as
Yeah.
well. And I know you're young yet, but doing this for another couple of years will make you old pretty quick, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. But I was prepared for it. I was a diesel mechanic before this. I'm prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm glad you are enjoying it, and I'm glad that the towing industry is being as nice as it can to you. And I hopefully you get your new trucks in, and that makes your life a little bit easier as well.
Oh yeah, it's just Peterborough area. The companies, they just bring in drivers, chew them up, and spit them out. Yeah, because they last 6, 7 months, and then they're gone out of that company. I don't know where they go. It doesn't seem like they get back into towing,
Yeah.
and I don't know what's going on. I've maybe had a couple resumes, but by the time I get settled down, I'm like, okay, I can answer these guys. I'm talking to them at the same time they're talking to someone else, and that other person's like, yeah, okay, come, let's
Yeah.
get you in, out. And then they last like, I think I've had a couple guys that were going to go with me and then ended up only lasting a month with another guy. And then they were done because they couldn't handle it.
Hmm. 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 Wow. Yeah, it is a hard industry to find and to hold on to guys. The turnaround rate's definitely pretty high, which
Yeah.
is a shame because the towing industry has a lot to offer to the right type of person. But if you're not that right type of person, then, like you said, you're just not going to make it, unfortunately.
And
But
as soon as you get past that first year, everything just gets easier.
yeah, once
You
you
get
get the
into the
knowledge underneath
groove.
your belt, it definitely makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, everything's just simply looking and going, oh, yeah, okay, this is how to do it.
Yep.
Every day is different. You get different scenes. You just adapt to it. After a while, you just start clicking in.
Yep. And it's like I was telling my rookie, I was like, I can train you on the basics and the calls that we have right now, but I can't train you for the call that you're going to have down the road. Like if I show you how to do a rollover right now, that's fine. You'll know how to do that rollover. The first rollover you get, it could be nosed up to a pole and you can't actually roll it right over. So you're going to have to slide it, then roll it over. And until you get the years under your belt, you're not going to have the experience to be able to do that proper problem solving and figuring it out. Right?
Yeah, like the training for my one driver, he got in a good time. We got a lot of police calls. So we got a lot of bad stuff that we could show what to do and all of that. Give him the basics of this is probably going to be your hardest call. So here it is. I had in the first 2 weeks he was with us, we got a broken ball joint. I was like, thank God, that'll be nice to show him on that.
Yeah.
Broken tire. I get all the broken tie rods, broken ball joints. At this point, I bought all the trucks, the ball joint skates.
Yeah.
I'm the only one running Go Jacks, though. I'll do all those calls
Yeah.
and try to avoid the BMW X5s as much as possible.
I'm pretty sure the X5, it's just the ass end that locks up in those, right? When they're in park.
Yeah, but you can't get them out of park.
Yeah.
The
So
brand
you,
new ones don't come out of park.
oh, right. Right.
I think the 2015 or something like that is when they switched it to the hex on the transmission,
Mm.
and then apparently they just got rid of it.
Yeah, they really don't like us over there at the factory, do they?
No, no. So every time an X5 comes in, I'm always the guy doing it because I can throw dollies or not dollies, my Go Jacks. Don't want to, but really, BMW doesn't give you another option.
Yeah, and they're not paying you anymore for it either, are they?
No,
No.
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 You just gotta bill your time and hope that they think your time is worth it.
Yeah. Speaking of time, I think we are pretty much at our end for today. So I'd really like to thank you for coming on the show and giving us a little bit of a looks into the life of an owner operator, a young owner operator too. Um, hopefully you get to go home and have a good night's sleep and hopefully not burn yourself out.
Oh, come on, we still got a couple more hours left of the night.
I know your phone's been ringing while you've been doing this show, and we've had to cut a few things around.
Yeah,
But once again, I just want to thank you for being here, and it's definitely been fun.
gives you someone to talk to.
Yeah, yeah, and gives everyone, all of our listeners, someone to listen ramble on for 40 minutes or so. So I'd
Yeah,
just like
compared
to,
to one person rambling it on, kind
yeah,
of gets a
yeah,
conversation going.
yeah. Screw you, playing guy.
Should
With
make him
that,
do an episode alone.
yeah, he may he. I think that would go to his head. I think he would like it so much he would be like, "Fuck that TowManG guy," and just do it by himself, regardless if it's good or not.
Yeah.
But with that said, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, feedback for us here, any questions you want passed on to Austin here, feel
Yeah,
free
tell me
to
off if you'd like.
feel free to send us an email at thetowinglife@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at the same. Visit the website www.towinglife.ca. Or you can give us a call at 249-666-2209. Make sure if you got any questions for Austin, send them our way. We can pass them along. We can get you two in contact with each other. Or if you want to work for Austin here, be my guest. Send over your resumes to him as well. With that said,
busy.
I'm sorry.
So I'll keep you guys busy.
Yes, if you want to work, he's your guy. With that said, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.